this is Bernie from Stamp and Eat, and welcome to another Friday card making session with me. It has been a very exciting week for me. I have done it. My blog has gone live, so that is at stampandeat.com. Please do go and have a visit, go and have a nosy around there, and I'm going to be posting regularly on that blog and doing a lot more on there than on my social media. So if you are following me on social media, it will pay to go and visit my blog because there are going to be posts there that I'm not going to put on social media. So yay, that's all been done. And then the second big thing that's happened this week is at my Stamp and Eat retreat for the 27th to the 29th of May. The bookings have gone live today, and there are only 15 exclusive spots. I will pop the booking registration link down below in the description. And as of when, I think a couple of hours ago, 7 of those had already sold. So there are only 8 at the time of putting this video out there. There are only 8 left. So if you've been thinking about going, or this is the first time that you see I'm advertising this retreat, I would highly recommend that you don't delay, that you actually pop on, put your registration, put your deposit down to secure your place, because these tickets are going to go fast. We had the most incredible time last year. That is real food that we ate. Those are the rooms. That is a real waterfall, on the site. Those are the projects we did last year, and that's the group that we were last year. But it's going to be phenomenal. I've got a lot of exciting things that we will be doing this retreat. But for the purpose of today, I am going to be showing you how I made this card. And this card features the Oceanfront stamp set, which is a photopolymer set, as well as, and I'm trying to find what I've done with it, as well as the Beautiful Moments stamp set, which I can't find at the moment. It's hiding somewhere. Oh, there it is. I know where it is. The Beautiful Moments stamp set. Now, the Beautiful Moments stamp set is not carrying over to the annual catalog for 2022-23. So if you like these images, and it's got the LED on it, if you like these images, then I would strongly encourage you to hop onto the link below in the description box and purchase that while you still can. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to be using my Stamparatus today because I just find it is easier to stamp this particular card using the Stamparatus. For your card base, you're going to need a standard basic white thick cardstock measured at 5.5 by 8.25, scored at 4 1/8. And then your Bermuda Bay, you'll just need to cut that down by about 1/4 inch to give you your 1/8 inch, whatever you prefer, to give you your base. And then we'll be working with basic white, and I just want to move this into the camera for you. Basic white that I'm going to be stamping using this technique I'm going to show you, which is the masking technique, to create a 3D look with those little girls. All right, the colors today: Bermuda Bay, Just Jade, which is retiring at the end of April. So if you love the Just Jade, it is retiring, and you will need to grab it while you still can. So with my stamp pad, I'm just going to lightly color the stamp, and you'll see I'm using both hinges on my Stamparatus today, which is what makes it such an awesome tool to have. And you just come down and you lightly press on there. Because it's sky, we're not going to be too worried if there's like a mottled effect. Right, and gently lift it up, and it's smudged there again. I had this earlier when I was pre-recording. I don't know what's going on. Let's see if we can cover it up. Now I'm going to do the Just Jade, but what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to take the ink and I'm going to leave it off the top part of that stamp set. And the reason for that is we're going to put the little girls over So I just want to check if that's going to be enough. I might just use a baby wipe and just come in and take a little bit more off there. And we will fill that in later. So again, let me just move this into the camera. It's quite tricky with the camera and the Stamparatus. Okay, so that's coming in. Okay, so that is got a bit of a blank space there, white space, and we'll just fill that in with some blends. That's not a problem. Now we are going to use a masking technique. And what we're going to do is we are going to stamp the girls first with Memento Black. And then we're going to place a mask over them. So I'm just going to dab over with Memento Black. And I'm going to bring their heads. This is why I left it plain. So I'm bringing the heads to the end so that it's not on the green. And I'm stamping there. And then I've created a mask. And as you can see, I've used this mask quite a lot. And you're going to put that over the girls. Let me just come in here. All right, so I'll just zoom in for you. Sorry, I bumped the camera. So I'm putting the mask over the girls. And then with Crumb Cake, I'm going to ink up the C. I just want to check if that's... This is so interesting. Ah, that's why that's moved. I was trying to figure out why has this image all changed from when I set it up. Let's just check. Right, let's put the sand down there. I'm going to get rid of that sky, that I don't re-ink that. Okay. Now I'm going to come in with my Crumb Cake. And I'm going to ink up the sand. And it's going to go over the mask. And you really want to press in hard between the mask so that that ink goes down. And if I've done it right, we should lift it up and there's some sand. Okay. That's looking great. We do have some green there, which I think we will fix by coloring that in. So let's just close all these ink pads. So do make sure when you are doing this that you keep that Just Jade section open. All right, I'm going to zoom in here while I'm coloring in these little girls. So the first thing we want is some Just Jade macaron, light Just Jade. So I'm just going to fill in these blanks. And I'm going to bring a little bit of dark Just Jade. And I'm going to just use a bit of a color lifter just on the edge. Just a little bit so that it just tries to blend in. It doesn't look too much like I've gone and added. I do deliberately want it to bleed in there. Okay. That's the first bit. Then over here where it's come in with the sand, I'm just going to use my bullet tip and just again just come in there, and again I'm just going to bring the color lifter in a little bit and blend it into that ocean, because as we know, the sea is not a fixed color anyway. Right, now using crumb cake, my light crumb cake, I'm going to just come in around the little girls. Just in this. And then once I've done that, then I'm actually going to color them in. So I'm going to use the bronze for their hair, and for this little girl's hair I am just drawing some stripes like this, just some lines, and for this little girl I'm making hers a little wavy. Okay, the skin tone is the new natural tones, and I'm using the 800, and I'm just going to color her arms in. Right. On her little legs. And now with the little girl on the left, I'm going to give her a nice pretty pink dress. I used Flirty Flamingo for that, and then with the dark Flirty Flamingo I'm just going to come in and just create some shadowing here, and I'll bring in the light Flirty Flamingo and pull that through. Okay. Now with the little girl to her right, her baby sister, I'm going to use a red. I want to make her dress red so that she's got a nice bright dress that she's wearing to the beach. You wouldn't say that's red, eh? The cap looks like it's a whole different color, but it is actually real red, which is really important when you are looking at your colors to actually swatch them. And now I'm going to just bring in the dark real red, and I'm just going to also create a bit of shadows on her dress, just imagining how the light is shining. And going to come back in and just pull that through. Okay, now let's do the buckets. So the buckets, I want to make them a yellow, and the blue inside the water, inside the buckets, I've actually used Pool Party, but I've used my marker pen, and I'm going to use the bullet tip, and I'm simply just drawing some lines, just a few lines to create the image of water. Okay, now I'm going back to my crumb cake, my light crumb cake, and I'm going to fill this beach scene and see if I can fix some of that green that we created. I'm using the bullet tip for that, and I'm going in between the girls. And I'll show you what I did in between there. Between her feet. Honestly, I'm just doing like rough lines. It's not, you can tell I'm not doing it particularly fancy. I'm going to use the darker crumb cake, and I'm just going to make this ocean around her face a little bit darker, so it creates the impression, you know, when you're walking on wet sand, when the sand, the tide is out. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just going to just come in places, sort of just to make it look like the sand, and I want to see if I can. So that's what I'm going to do there. Okay, I did it over here as well. Just sort of makes it look a little bit more interesting. Now I'm going to grab some foliage, and I'm going to use my Memento Black for that. And I'm just going to stamp this little leaf seagrass. I'm just going to do a second generation, and I'm actually going to put it over that offensive little blob because it's really annoying me. And then I'm going to do the bigger one, and I'm also going to do second generation, and I'm just going to come off here. There we go. Okay, create a bit of interest. I'm now going to take some of these pebbles. So we've got some faux sea glass, and we've got faux sea glass shapes and pebble enamel shapes that make it look like the beach, and they are so realistic in what they look like. So I'm just going to group them, always grouping in. Oops, where's that one gone? That's interesting. I've lifted up the glue, but I haven't taken the shape. How fascinating. Not quite sure what I did there, to be honest. Okay, we'll try that again. So we'll put that in there, and let's go and add some here, add some on that green dot that's bothering me, and bring in some faux glass and some more. And remember, we always want to work in odd numbers, so there we are. So looking at it, I think I'm going to bring a little bit more light crumb cake in here. Just and I am happy with that. So yep, that will do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mount it onto my Bermuda Bay with my Tombow glue. In the middle, get that nice and straight. It does look like the sea's got some green, but I am not too fussed by that, because sometimes the sea has that look to it. It can be quite, it can change a lot of colors, so I'm not going to get myself too upset about that. And I'm mounting that onto my basic white cardstock. And voila, you've got a gorgeous little sea scene with your little girls. So with this one, you can see my border is a lot more blue, that one's a lot more white. So you play around and see what works best for you. But I love how you can create a scene so quickly by using different stem sets and using that masking technique that I have shown you. So I hope you have learned something today. Drop me a comment, and thank you to those that have commented on other posts. I love the feedback. I love questions when people are asking questions. It's so good to have the interaction. So please do ask questions. I will answer them as soon as I see them. Well, as quickly as soon afterwards. So that's me for today. I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I hope you have some awesome crafting time. And remember, until we meet again, stamp, eat, sleep, repeat. Bye.